Every other Friday, your paycheck lands. For about 6 hours, you feel okay. Then rent clears, the car payment clears, the card minimum clears, and by Tuesday, you're refreshing your balance, wondering where it all went. Meanwhile, your coworker, same job, same salary, same boring index funds, is sitting roughly $40,000 ahead of you after 5 years. She never picked a better investment than you did. She never timed the market better. She never had a higher paycheck. She just put her dollars in a different order. And here's the part that's going to annoy you. You're not behind because you're dumb. You're behind because nobody handed you the map. They made you memorize that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Then they released you into a world of 401ks and Roth phase-outs with precisely zero instructions. The order you invest in matters more than what you invest in, more than your stock picks, more than your timing, more than your fund. Fees combined. Give me the next 25 minutes. I'll pour your money through the exact waterfall, step by step, with 2026's real limits and real rates. So you stop optimizing the wrong screen forever. A quick, honest disclaimer before we build the map. I'm not your financial advisor. This isn't personalized advice for your specific tax situation. These are the principles with the actual 2026 numbers attached, so you can see why each step sits where it sits. Your life has wrinkles. We'll get to the wrinkles. But the default order, the order that works for most people most of the time, that's what we're building today. If you've ever stared at a little extra money and felt that low hum of paralysis, I should probably be doing something smarter with this. This video kills that feeling for good. Make sure you're subscribed. We're about to pour water down the exact buckets. Here's the one idea everything hangs on. Think of your money like water falling through a series of buckets. Each bucket is a place your dollars can go, and the rule of the waterfall is simple. You fill the bucket with the highest guaranteed return first. Only when it overflows does the water spill into the next one down. Guaranteed beats maybe. Tax-free beats taxed. Money you can reach beats money that's locked away until the earlier buckets are full. Burn those 3 lines into your head. We're going to spend the rest of this video pouring water down the exact buckets in order. The order is the edge, not the picks. Let me show you why with a story. It's a Tuesday. Alex is sitting at a red light feeling pretty good about himself. He just opened his brokerage app. He thumb-tapped his spare cash into 3 stocks trending that morning. For the first time, he feels like an adult who has his money figured out. He does not have his money figured out. Across town that same Tuesday, his coworker Grace, same job, same paycheck, does something far less exciting. She sets up a single automatic transfer. She routes her money through a specific order of accounts, and she goes back to her life. She won't think about it again for years. 5 years later, Grace is sitting roughly $40,000 ahead of Alex. Same income, same savings rate, same boring index funds. She never once picked a better investment than he did. She just put her dollars in the right order. Hold on to both of them. We're coming back to the scoreboard at the end. But first, let me show you the cost of bad order. Because it's not a rounding error. It's real money every single year, quietly. Picture Alex again. He's got $10,000 sitting on a credit card, average rate in 2026, somewhere around 21–22%. He's also got $10,000 proudly invested in the market, expecting, let's be generous, 7% a year. Run that. He's earning 7 on one pile. He's losing 21 on the other. Net, he's going backwards by roughly 14% a year. On 10 grand, that's about $1,400 a year he's setting on fire. While feeling like a responsible investor the entire time, he's not dumb. He's pouring water into the wrong bucket while a higher priority bucket sits there bleeding. Now flip it. The employer match, the debt payoff, the tax-advantaged accounts. Each of these, done in the right slot, hands you a return the stock market can only dream about delivering reliably. When I say order matters, more than picks, I'm not being cute. The buckets at the top of this waterfall pay better than anything you could buy at the bottom. Alex lost his first chunk of that 40 grand because his job offered the same match Grace's did. He just never dragged the contribution slider off the factory default of 0. 2 years of free money gone because a number on a benefits website stayed exactly where HR set it while he was busy refreshing his stock app. Congratulations. To him, he optimized the wrong screen. Let's start pouring from the very top. Step 0. I call it 0 because it's not really investing, it's the thing that protects all your investing. A small cash buffer, $1,000 to $2,000. That's it. Here's why it comes first before the sexy stuff. Life is going to throw a bill at you. The car makes a noise, the tooth cracks. The water heater picks the worst possible week to die, and if you have nothing between you and that bill, you reach for a credit card. You've just walked yourself into the 21% bucket we literally just watched destroy Alex. That $2,000 isn't an investment, it's a wall. It stands between one bad Tuesday and a debt spiral that undoes months of progress. Grace had hers parked and ready before she did anything else. Alex didn't bother. Guess who funded a transmission repair with plastic, put it in a high-yield savings account? In 2026, that actually pays you something, high 3s to around 4%. It's not there to grow, it's there to keep you in the game. That's the entire job. Onward. Step 1 is, without exaggeration, the best deal you will ever be offered in your financial life. And a shocking number of people walk right past it. The employer 401k match. If your job offers one, this is the bucket you fill before almost anything else, and I'll defend that. Even if you're carrying some debt, a typical match is something like, we'll put in 100% of the first 5% you contribute, you put in $1, your employer drops in $1 instantly. That is a 100% return, not 7%, not 10, 100, the moment the money lands. Before the market does anything at all, there is no investment on earth that reliably doubles your money the instant you make it. Let me dramatize it because percentages go in one ear and out the other. Say you make $80,000, you contribute 5%. That's $4,000 of yours and $4,000 from your employer. Let that employer match, just the free $4,000 a year, ride in the market at 7% for 30 years. You end up with roughly $377,000. From the part you didn't pay for, that's $350,000 in free money, and the only thing you had to do was fill out a form and not skip the bucket. Tattoo this somewhere. Walking past your full employer match is the only place in personal finance where you turn down a guaranteed 100% return out of pure inattention. Every year, American workers leave billions of dollars in unclaimed employer match on the table, billions, not because they made a complicated mistake, because they contributed 0 or contributed below the match threshold and never realized they were declining. A raise. Don't be a line in that statistic. Now, I can feel some of you arguing, Nick, I've got credit card debt. Shouldn't I attack that? First, capture the match first, then attack the debt. 100% instantly beats 21%, but only on the match amount. Contribute exactly enough to grab a barci. Every dollar of match, no more. Then turn around and go to war with the debt, which is step 2. Step 2, kill the high-interest debt. And in 2026, with rates where they are, this step has teeth it didn't have a decade ago. Here's the reframe almost nobody internalizes. Paying off debt is investing. When you wipe out a balance charging you 21%, you have just earned a guaranteed, risk-free, tax-free 21% return. Guaranteed, risk-free, tax-free. Say that combination out loud. There is no legal investment that offers all three. The market offers none of them. To match a 21% card payoff in a taxable account at the 24% bracket, you'd need to earn something like 28% before tax just to break even. Warren Buffett doesn't do that. So no, you are not missing out on the market by paying off your cards. You are earning a return so good it would get a hedge fund manager investigated. What counts? As high interest in 2026, credit cards at 20 plus, not even a question. Burn them down first. Personal loan at 11%, still yes. The gray zone is 4 to 7%. Mortgage, low student loans, that comes way later, on purpose. 2 ways to attack debt. Avalanche, highest rate. First, mathematically correct, saves the most money. Snowball, smallest balance first, costs a little more interest, but you get a win on the board faster, the best. Debt strategy is the one you actually finish. A perfect spreadsheet you abandon in month 3 is worse than a good plan you complete. Payday loans and predatory stuff. That jumps the line ahead of almost everything. Nothing in this video outruns a loan compounding at 300%. Match captured, high interest debt dead. Now we build. Step 3, the real emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses. Notice the order, tiny buffer at step 0, grab the free match, torch the worst. Debt. Only now do we build the big cash cushion. Why not earlier? Because parking 6 months of expenses in cash while a card charges you 21% is lighting money on fire for the feeling of safety. Get the bleeding stopped first, then build the fortress. 3 months if your income is stable, 6 if you're self-employed, variable income, or sole earner, and it's expenses, not income. The survival number, not the vacation number, not the eating out number, the number you'd need if your paycheck vanished tomorrow. In 2026, a good high-yield savings account pays high 3s to 4%. Your emergency fund earns while it waits. Fully liquid, ready the instant you need it, automate it. Same way the match comes out before you see it. Treat it as a bill you owe your future. Self, build to 1 month first, then 3, then 6 if your situation calls for it. It accretes silently while you barely notice, which is exactly why it works. Step 4, and this one surprises people, the HSA Health Savings Account. Forget everything you think this account is for, it is secretly the best investment. Account in the entire tax code, the only triple tax-advantaged account in existence. Money goes in tax-deductible, it grows tax-free, it comes out tax-free for medical expenses. In growth out, never taxed at any stage. Nothing else in the system does that. If you're on a high-deductible health plan in 2026, you can put in up to $4,400 as an individual. The move the pros make? Pay current medical bills out of pocket. Let the HSA sit and invest for decades. Don't use it as a checking account for Band-Aids. If you don't have a high-deductible plan, skip this bucket entirely. No penalty. The water flows to the next step, step 5, the Roth IRA. You put in money you've already paid taxes on. It grows for decades. Every cent comes out tax-free in retirement. For 2026, $7,500 a year, up from $7,000 in 2025. The Roth sits above your regular 401k in the order because you usually get a wider menu of cheap index funds, and your contributions, not the growth, can be pulled back without penalties if you truly need them. Backdoor Roth exists for high earners, side door, completely legal, widely used. If you earn too much for the front door, you take the side door. Step 6, we return to the 401k and fill it the rest of the way. Remember, at step 1, we only contributed enough to grab the full match. We deliberately stopped there. Now we pour more in, up to the 2026 employee limit of $24,500. That's up from 23.5. Last year does not include the employer match. That sits on top. Check your fund fees inside the 401k. 1% over 40 years can quietly eat a six-figure chunk. Use the low-cost index fund option if your plan has one. Step 7. The taxable brokerage account. Last in the order. Not bad, just least tax efficient. No ceiling on how much you can pour in. Liquidity with no strings. Want to retire at 45? Walk away from a bad job? That gets funded by this bucket. Not the account you can't touch until 60. The retirement accounts buy your old age. The taxable account buys your freedom. That's why it's last. And also why for people chasing an early exit, it ends up being the most important bucket of all. Before we land, the 4 leaks. How the water ends up on the floor instead of in the buckets. Leak 1, investing while carrying high-interest debt. Leak 2, leaving the match on the table to avoid market risk. The match isn't market risk, it's a raise. Leak 3, hoarding cash forever past 6 months of expenses. A fortress the size of a small country is just money you're scared to deploy. Leak 4, skipping boring buckets to chase the exciting taxable account. Alex's whole personality, the exciting bucket pays the worst. The boring buckets pay better. Boring is where the money is. Scoreboard time. Grace captured her match from $1, killed her debt. Automated her fortress, poured water down the waterfall in order. Alex dumped everything into a taxable brokerage, skipped the free match, paid tax on every gain, still carried. The card, same $1,200 a month, $40,000 gap, not a stock pick, a sequence. Here's your 2026 action map: buffer, match, debt, emergency fund. HSA if eligible. Roth. Max the 401k. Taxable last. You don't need to do all 8 today. If all you ever do is grab your full employer match and kill your credit card debt, you will be ahead of a huge chunk of this country because you filled the 2 highest return buckets that exist. Find out your employer match today. Grab every dollar of it. Look at your highest interest debt. Pick a fight with it. That's steps 1 and 2, the 2 buckets that pay more than anything else you will ever do with money. Pick one step. Do it before you go to bed tonight. That's the frame. Build it in. The right order, or the order builds your regrets for you. Subscribe if you want the next map. I'll see you in the next one.